Aliens are among us, and they've been here for a very, very long time. Today we are embarking on a wild journey through history, from a 7,000-year-old alien head that is baffling archaeologists to newly declassified CIA files that expose alleged alien bases right here on Earth. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations about impossible ancient structures, baffling rock art, and even bizarre modern-day encounters. It's time to get extraterrestrial. This 7,000-year-old alien head. This head has been messing with archaeologists. In the blistering heat of Kuwait's dusty northern plains, where nothing but time and wind erode ancient secrets, archaeologists recently brushed away 7 millennia of sand and lost their minds. There it was, staring back at them. It had big, slanted eyes, a flat little nose, and a skull stretched like it was trying to pick up Wi-Fi from Alpha Centauri. It was a simple clay figurine from 7,000 years ago, only there was nothing simple about it. This thing was straight out of the X-Files. The discovery went down at Bara 1, a Stone Age site older than most civilizations and your favorite myth. The archaeological team, part Polish, part Kuwaiti, all perplexed, stumbled on what they described as a small, finely crafted head with slanted eyes and an elongated skull. To be frank, this figurine looks like an alien. Expedition leader Agnieszka Simczak called it a total surprise for the whole team. I mean, yeah, no doubt it was a surprise. Weirdly, the statue seems to have come from somewhere else. In the Arabian Gulf region, most artifacts are found made of ceramics, but this alien head statue was made from Mesopotamian clay, not the typical local stuff archaeologists find scattered around the Arabian Peninsula. Which means that someone imported special mud across ancient deserts just to make this creepy little idol. Who would do that? The answer is the Ubaids, a mysterious culture that few people who aren't obsessed with archaeology and history know about. The Ubaid culture dominated Mesopotamia during the Stone Age, long before Sumer or Akkad. Then they settled in the Gulf region around 5,500 BC, where they started building alien idols. I say alien because, I mean, look at it. Some experts claim the elongated style of the skull can be traced back to the prehistoric tradition of cranial deformation. It was a practice where ancient people shaped their skulls to look like footballs. But that might not be the case. The elongated skull might be more of a nod to ancient aliens, visitors who may have said hello to the Ubaid people before jetting back off to Zedi Prime or whatever their homeworld is called. The theory floating around is that the Ubaid culture may have befriended aliens. Then, after the aliens left, they kept on carving idols in their image. This 7,000-year-old sculpture may have been based on a living, breathing alien. What do you think? I wanted to give a big thank you to Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. Browsing the internet without a VPN is like trying to send a private message but accidentally sending it to a huge group chat. Yeah, everyone saw what you said. Whenever you're online on your phone, your computer, your tablet, even your gaming console, your device is sending out a ton of information. Think of it like shouting your secrets in a crowded room. Anyone from your internet service provider to hackers on the same Wi-Fi network can see what you're doing online. That's where a VPN or a virtual private network comes in. An app like Private Internet Access, or PIA for short, hides your IP address and creates an encrypted tunnel for your internet connection. And this shields your personal information from anyone trying to get their hands on it. Hackers on public Wi-Fi can easily steal your passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. PIA protects you from this by encrypting your connection with their world-class servers, making your data bulletproof. But a VPN isn't just for security. Have you ever tried to watch a show on a streaming service only to find out it's not available in your country? PIA lets you change your virtual location to one of their servers in 91 countries and all 50 US states. And this means you can unlock a world of content on services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus that you couldn't access before. It's not just for streaming either. You can get better deals on flights, games, and clothes, and even watch sports that are blacked out in your region. And the best part? One subscription covers an unlimited number of devices. You can protect your entire household or all the devices in your workspace with just one account. So if you're ready to protect your online privacy and unlock a world of content, I've got a special offer for you. By using the link in my description box, you can get 83% off your private internet access subscription. That's just $2.03 a month, and you'll get an extra 4 months free. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's totally risk-free. Click the link in the description box or the pinned comment and get 83% off and start protecting your data. And now with that, let's get back into it. Secret CIA files expose alien bases on Earth. Hey, what if aliens are attractive? Somewhere in a dusty filing cabinet inside Langley, buried between plans for mind control and false flag events, there exists a document so bizarre, so bananas, that even the most die-hard conspiracy theorists have a hard time believing the words on these pages. But before the big reveal, let's head on back to the Cold War and the CIA's Stargate project. It was a 100% real, absolutely non-fictional experiment conducted by the CIA in which they used people with alleged psychic powers to gather intelligence. In that dusty filing cabinet I mentioned is a report from the Stargate project. One of the psychics used by the CIA claimed to astral project to 3 alien bases. 2 of them were on Earth. When the CIA declassified documents from Stargate in 2000, conspiracy theorists practically exploded like overshaken soda cans. Buried in the paperwork was this little gem of a report titled Description of Personnel Associated ET Bases. According to the report, the psychic visited an extraterrestrial base on Mount Hayes, Alaska. The other one was somewhere in Africa. And the third one was on Titan, Saturn's biggest moon. Now, as unbelievable as all this may sound, you have to admit that Alaska is the perfect place for an alien base, next only to Antarctica. When you consider how remote, freezing, and sparsely populated it is, it's kind of genius. Who's going to bother the aliens up there? A moose? The psychic spy went full tour guide, describing the beings at these bases like they were best friends. Some of the entities were humanoid, while others were more like what you'd expect aliens to look like, as in freakish beings with weird limbs and bulbous, bug-like eyes. Then comes the part of the report that turns this from a potential alien bombshell into some nerd's Star Wars fanfiction. The psychic spy reportedly saw a hot alien girl, the kind Captain Kirk would romance in a heartbeat. She had shoulder-length brown hair and bodacious curves, everything a man could ever want in an alien babe. At this point, you have to question what the CIA was thinking with these experiments. Are there really smoking hot alien ladies working in secret Alaskan bases, or did the CIA test a bunch of wackos? The agency itself concluded in 1995 that psychic powers were not useful for intelligence. The Stargate project was scrapped, and the files were quietly boxed up like that crate in the final scene of Indiana Jones. They have slowly, bit by bit, been declassified, so keep an eye out for more intel. And now for a quick break because it's shout-out time! I want to give a big thank you to Kim Weddle and Bernardino Machado for supporting this channel. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. The pyramid that shouldn't exist. There is a wonder of the world that you've never heard of. High above the humming chaos of the Amazon, there is a peak called Cerro El Cono. And if it looks suspiciously like a pyramid got drunk and wandered into Peru, you're not wrong. This place is a 400-meter tall mystery with clean, stepped sides that seem to whisper ancient secrets. You know how the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt stands 481 feet tall? Well, Cerro El Cono is 3 times as tall. Some believe it to be the tallest ancient structure ever built. Others say it's nothing but a normal mountain. But if you look around the region, you'll notice there aren't any other mountains here. Cerro El Cono is incredibly out of place, like finding a skyscraper in Kansas. Not to mention it looks exactly like what you'd expect an Amazonian pyramid to look like. Local indigenous communities have always believed it to be sacred. They don't climb it, they don't even look at it. They just respect it as a divine mountain spirit manifested here to protect their lands. That's what the locals say. Now for the opinion of the fringe researchers. They claim Cerro El Cono is a massive engineered marvel, possibly built by an ancient civilization that predates all other known civilizations. I'm talking tens of thousands of years old. Meanwhile, scientists in the background are clutching their clipboards and screaming, "It's just a volcano!" While the even more fringe researchers are saying it is an alien construction, a remnant of a time when humans were little more than pets to their controlling alien gods. So, who are you supposed to believe? According to Dr. Elena Marquez, a geologist who is undoubtedly tired of arguing with conspiracy theorists on Twitter, the mountain looks a lot like a volcanic plug. In scientific terms, that's hardened magma that got left behind after a volcano eroded away. Think Devil's Tower in the US, but with more jungle and fewer tourists. Marquez said the vertical joints and layered rock are classic natural erosion. But if we flip back to the locals, they say the mountain was once a man-made pyramid, built by a mysterious pre-Inca civilization that left zero trace behind except for this one megalithic structure. It used to be easy to dismiss these types of theories and legends as nothing but myth. However, with more similarly mysterious sites being found all over the globe recently, like Gunung Padang in Indonesia, Cerro El Cono is starting to look a lot more alien and a lot less Mother Nature. China's ancient alien rock art. Did aliens visit ancient China? In the windswept gorges of China, ancient hands carved out secrets in stone. Secrets that still send a chill down archaeologists' spines. There are mysterious figures chiseled into remote rock faces that are reminiscent of a meeting between humans and aliens. Some of these figures look like they just stepped off a UFO. What's different about this Chinese rock art compared to similar art in other parts of the world is that it was already being studied by geographers 1,500 years ago. Li Daoyuan was a geographer before geography was a subject. Thanks to Li's appreciation of ancient art, China is technically the first known nation to become aware of its own prehistoric rock carvings. And they have a lot. On Mount Helan alone, there are over 6,000 petroglyphs carved into the rocks, like the universe's oldest graphic novel. Some of them have been dated to 10,000 years old. At the heart of the carvings is Helanko, a dramatic gorge filled with scenes of hunting, herding, and, NSFW warning here, ritual sex acts. It appears the ancient humans who lived in the area were participating in some extremely lewd rituals. Sex ceremonies that wouldn't have been out of place at Caligula's birthday bash. But not all of the art is so straightforward. Among the cows and arrows are masks, divine beings, and one figure that's been melting archaeologists' minds for decades. The figure gives out some major sun god vibes, with rays bursting from his head and what looks like a bizarre alien headdress on his noggin. He looks like he just arrived from Orion's belt. Scholars say he might have represented a deity. Others wonder if he's part of a global pattern of ancient sun worship. And then there's the third camp who believe the mystery figure is an alien, one that appeared to the ancient Chinese at the dawn of their civilization and bestowed knowledge upon them. Have you ever noticed how many ancient gods look like they belong in Area 51? I'm just saying. Another spectacular place to check out in China is Zhuojiang Huashan, home to countless red ochre masterpieces smeared across 38 sites. Some images tower 300 feet above the Ming River. You need a drone just to take them all in. Using a mix of hematite, animal glue, and actual blood, the ancient artists painted scenes filled with human silhouettes, boats, bells, knives, and drums. Some figures stand over 10 feet tall. How tall are you? The most repeated image across the 38 sites is a crouching human surrounded by objects. It appears to be some sort of shaman in the middle of a ritual, possibly summoning something that should probably stay unsummoned. This magician doesn't have anything to do with aliens, but it is a unique glimpse into the ritualistic world of the ancients. You know I love that stuff. Historians may never know exactly what these carvings meant, but one thing is clear: China's ancient rock artists were recording something big, something sacred, maybe something not entirely human. The day Google erased Atlantis. What if a massive cover-up hid the greatest discovery of our time? It started with a strange grid and a natural pattern lurking deep beneath the waves off the coast of Africa. It looked too perfect, too clean, too man-made. Google Earth users zoomed in, jaws dropped, and the internet went wild. People were shouting from the rooftops, "We did it! We finally found Atlantis!" The mythical sunken city Plato teased a few millennia ago was allegedly discovered thanks to the same app you use to spy on your ex's house, Google Earth. And then, as soon as the discovery was announced, it was erased. Literally erased, scrubbed clean from Google Earth. And just like that, the ruins of the world's favorite lost city were lost once again. But what really happened? Did Google cover up the discovery of Atlantis? To understand, let's try to get into the 2009 frame of mind. Barack Obama was inaugurated, single ladies and poker face were on the top of the charts, and the first version of Minecraft was made public. Also in 2009, Google launched Google Ocean, a way for people on their PCs at home or their iPhone 3s to peek below the waves. It was like dropping a sonar bombshell for amateur archaeologists and late-night YouTubers like you. Everyone and their conspiracy-loving uncles started scanning the deep sea for signs of ancient civilizations, sea monsters, or alien submarines. And some people actually found stuff. Off the coast of Northwest Africa, in the exact region people have speculated Atlantis once sank, a rectangular grid pattern appeared on the ocean floor. It looked like a sunken street map, like the layout of a forgotten city. Atlantis fever hit hard. Reddit threads popped like popcorn. Atlantis believers had screenshots, coordinates, and enough theories to keep you distracted for days. And then Google updated the map and Atlantis was gone. The grid, the street layout, the whole weird anomaly was erased from the system. Google, NOAA, and the Scripps Institution of Oceanography all stepped forward with their suspiciously polished explanations. It's like they all met up to discuss what excuse they would use to get out of work. According to David Sandwell, a Scripps geophysicist, the grid was just a blunder, a glitch caused by overlapping sonar data collected by ships using seafloor mapping technology. Apparently, when two surveys cover the same area but don't line up perfectly, you get strange patterns. Since this little incident, the way the ocean is mapped has changed a lot. Now, only 15% of Google Ocean's maps are based on real sonar readings. The rest are just predictions and satellite guesstimates. Do you think there are things down there they don't want us to see? Alien bases? The real Atlantis? A mermaid empire? If you have theories, let me know in the comments. Brazil just dropped its UFO files. Let me tell you about the little green men in Brazil. There's a lot of talk about the Pentagon pulling back the curtain on UFOs, but it hasn't really happened in a meaningful way yet. I don't know, what do you think? Brazil didn't just pull back the curtain, they yanked it clean off the rail and threw it into orbit. In a move that sent shockwaves through conspiracy forums, the Brazilian National Archives uploaded one of the biggest collections of UFO data ever made public. 893 cases, stretching from 1952 all the way to 2023, complete with photos, audio recordings, drawings, and enough bureaucratic documentation to make the men in black sweat through their sunglasses. The documents reveal decades of close encounters, from military pilots chasing unknown lights over the Amazon to civilians spotting saucers slicing through the skies of Rio. The files are arranged chronologically, a treasure trove for anyone brave enough to deep dive into nearly 900 sightings. But fair warning, it's like the Netflix of UFO data. You might spend more time looking for the file to read than actually reading the files. But oh boy, are there files to read. These documents are a jackpot, revealing hand-drawn sketches of spacecraft, audio recordings of first-hand witnesses, photos of UFOs, and official reports from military and civilian sources. Brazil's National Archives came forward saying that most of the encounters in the documents can be explained without aliens. But there are a few sightings that defy physics and can't be explained. In some cases, there are reports of the military tracking objects on their radar that were pulling off maneuvers that would liquefy a human pilot. These documents were dumped about a year ago, and researchers are still digging through them. And they've barely scratched the surface. If you want to see these files for yourself, you can access the archive via CIAN, Brazil's digital archive system. It takes a bit of navigating and most of it is in Portuguese, but the truth is out there for you to read. You just might need a translator. Go ahead and check out the files, and if you find something awesome, be sure to share it with me. Maybe I can bring it up in a new video and give you a shout out. Something took the cow. The cows aren't safe. In the quiet Alberta hamlet of Madden, a sleepy town nestled just northwest of Calgary, The only things more common than hay bales and grazing cattle are peace and predictability. But on June 6, 2015, something shattered that calm. And it didn't leave footprints. What it left was a dead cow, a surgical wound, and a whole town whispering about aliens. Remember the cow mutilations of the 1990s? This felt eerily similar. Karen Farquharson has seen her fair share of farm tragedies, from predator attacks to unfortunate accidents, but nothing prepared her for what she found that hot morning. One of Karen's cows lay still in the pasture, not yet decomposed, but definitely dead, and it was missing body parts. At first glance, nothing was that weird. Predators do like to eat cows after all. I mean, how many burger joints did you drive past this morning? But upon closer inspection, it was clear the cow hadn't been chewed on. Its body parts had been surgically removed, seemingly with laser tools. Gone were the udder, uterus, and a single eye, all stolen with surgical precision. Karen's husband, Luis Delgado, who once worked in farm animal surgery, didn't need to think twice. He said, "I've seen hundreds of surgeries, and this was a surgery. It doesn't add up." Why, pray tell, doesn't it add up, Luis? Because there was no blood. There was, however, a basketball-sized hole in the animal with smooth edges, like it came from a dissection lab. Sorry, I probably should have told you not to eat lunch during this. Possibly a dissection lab on board an alien ship. This was such a conundrum that the farmers called in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to investigate. But all the cops did was shrug and offer some lame explanation. They don't know. They said maybe the cow ate some poisonous herbs, which caused gas to accumulate inside its body until it exploded. Dead serious. This was the cops' official explanation. The cow ate poison and blew off one of its eyeballs and its udders. I don't know what kinds of herbs these cops are used to eating, but I assure you that cows don't explode like this. If it was an explosion, where's the blood and gore? Why are there smooth incisions instead of carnage? If this were a one-off incident, sure, blame the coyotes. But this isn't isolated. Across North America, cow mutilations like this have shown up in eerily similar ways for decades. It's always clean, always bizarre, and always met with half-hearted explanations from the authorities. I mean, what are they supposed to say? But there's no denying that something is out there. Be it underground or in space, something is removing cow parts with a level of precision that not even modern doctors can copy. Karen's own internet research led her down a dark and twisted rabbit hole. She learned of a theory that extraterrestrials harvest reproductive organs for stem cell research and cloning experiments. It's why they always take the uterus. But good thing it's a cow uterus and not a human uterus, that's for sure. Could these aliens be a species of interstellar cow creature? The return of the spheres. They are here and they are watching us. High in the rural skies above Yumbo, Colombia, under a quiet stretch of cloud-brushed blue, a local farmer raised his phone, hit the record button, and unknowingly added another chapter to what might be the weirdest recurring event in modern skywatching. On June 10, 2025, at precisely 3:15 p.m., the farmer's 3-minute high-res video captured what looks like a flawless metallic orb. It was seen hovering and drifting over cornfields like it was looking for a place to make a crop circle. What really caught people's attention was the fact that the mysterious sphere looked exactly like the now infamous Booga sphere, sighted just an hour and a half away. Welcome to the Sphere Club. These shiny little weirdos are popping up everywhere. From San Diego to Manchester, near cities, farms, and always suspiciously close to power lines. I have so many questions, I don't even know where to start. Why are identical orbs with the same eerie banded structure floating silently across the globe? Why are they always above a power grid? And why do they all vanish like they hit warp speed when someone points a camera at them? This isn't one farmer seeing a weather balloon, it's a global pattern, and it's beginning to look like surveillance. One of the leading theories right now is that these spheres are harvesting Earth's electromagnetic energy. These objects show up near substations, transformers, and transmission towers. Some researchers suggest the spheres are tapping into our grid, maybe testing infrastructure vulnerabilities, or maybe just recharging their mystery technology. Of course, there's always the possibility that the Booga spheres are nothing but drones with mirrored surfaces, kept in the air by a fishing line or straight-up AI. AI is such a problem these days, you don't know what's real and what isn't. Whether it's surveillance, harvesting, or something way above our pay grade, These orbs have shown up again and again, consistent in shape, size, and behavior. What do you think they are? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe while you're at it. The day a three-eyed giant took a stroll in Soviet Russia. You want alien encounters? I'll give you alien encounters. On September 27, 1989, in Voronezh, Russia, a giant glowing red ball crashed into a soccer field. And then some aliens crawled out of it and freaked out a bunch of kids. Imagine the surprise when the kids, kicking around a soccer ball, stopped and gawked at a 30-foot wide red orb dropping out of the sky. And what stepped out of the craft? A giant humanoid with 3 eyes, bronze boots, and the swagger of a cosmic fashion model. And the alien was joined by its robot sidekick. 1989 was the year the Berlin Wall came down, so that was good. But it was also the year UFOs treated the USSR like their personal sightseeing tour. Starting April 24th in Cherepovets, Ivan Veselova looked up and saw a massive craft hovering about 1,000 feet above the ground. He said it was larger than any plane he'd ever seen. Then on June 6th, in the village of Konantsevo, a group of kids claimed a glowing orb landed in a meadow. And from that orb emerged a headless being. Headless, I tell you. Meanwhile, a woman in Vologda saw a fireball glide through the sky for 17 minutes. That's long enough to cook a quick dinner, go out on the porch, and keep watching the fireball. At one point, 500 people watched a craft hanging out over their neighborhood like it was late for a house party. Another one zipped over a nuclear plant and shot a ray down to the ground, leaving behind a burn mark like a warning shot. It was the year of the UFO, and they seemed to be very interested in whatever the USSR was doing. And then came the Voronezh incident. The craft landed in the soccer field and quickly drew a crowd. As people gathered, a hatch opened. Out stepped a 14-foot-tall humanoid figure wearing a silver jumpsuit and bronze boots, joined by its robot companion. These beings didn't just stand around twiddling their thumbs. They walked through the park like they were out for a casual Thursday afternoon stroll. It was all peaceful until the alien zapped a 16-year-old boy with some sort of alien tube gun, and the kid vanished into thin air. He did turn up later, but he was confused and didn't remember very much. When the Soviet news agency TASS reported the story, people went wild. This wasn't some tinfoil hat blog written in a basement. This was the official press. International news outlets ran with it, and suddenly Sleepy Voronezh was the Area 51 of Eastern Europe. Lieutenant Sergei Matveyev, a local cop, confirmed he saw something. Not aliens exactly, but definitely a large craft moving silently and low. "I thought I was just tired," he said, "but I rubbed my eyes and it didn't go away." Authorities took it seriously too. The director of the regional health department said they would check the kids out medically, and a local geophysicist had kids draw what they saw. And guess what? Every kid drew the same banana-shaped ship marked with a big old X on it. Do you know how hard it is for kids to stick to the same story when they've made it up? Nearly impossible. These kids seem to have truly seen a banana-shaped spaceship. Despite all the investigations, no one managed to debunk the incident completely. There were just too many witnesses, not to mention too much physical evidence. There was no writing this off as a mass hallucination. To this day, the Voronezh incident remains one of the most infamous and well-documented UFO encounters in Russia's history. Three-eyed aliens, giant footprints, paralyzing stares, ray guns, banana-shaped crafts. What more could you ask for? Aliens in Mexican Congress. It was the kind of scene you'd expect from a documentary or maybe a particularly wild episode of Ancient Aliens. On September 12, 2023, under the polished lights of Mexico's Congress, 2 tiny gray, non-human bodies were wheeled out like it was an extraterrestrial wake. A press conference followed, people gasped, cameras clicked. Some viewers at home were ready to welcome our new alien overlords. But scientists around the world were cringing harder than some sort of funny analogy I just can't think of right now. Were these alien bodies real? And if they weren't, why would Congress allow such a show to go on? The spectacle was spearheaded by self-proclaimed ufologist and veteran sensationalist Jaime Maussan. Jaime is what happens when your eccentric uncle with a YouTube channel somehow gets security clearance. He stood before lawmakers and unveiled 2 3-foot-tall, grayish, big-headed figures laid out in little coffin-like boxes. According to Maussan and his crew, these pint-sized ETs weren't human. They allegedly had 3 fingers, gray, leathery skin, and their abdomens contained eggs. I always figured aliens would be more amphibian than human, but I wasn't picturing this. The duo also claimed radiocarbon dating showed the remains were about 1,000 years old and originated in Peru. Maussan said the bodies contained implants made of osmium and cadmium, which he described as a technology unknown 1,000 years ago. It really did look like this Maussan character had gotten his hands on biological aliens, ones who visited the ancient people of Peru 500 years before the Inca Empire. Then came the scientists to squash everyone's good time. Rafael Bojalil Parra of Mexico's Metropolitan Autonomous University didn't mince words. This is complete nonsense, he said. He also emphasized that while some tests were reportedly done at his university on these so-called aliens, no DNA testing was ever performed there. And to make things even less believable, a 2017 carbon dating result was locked up under a commercial agreement, which means that yes, these aliens were tested, but the results have been hidden from the public. So everyone is just taking Jaime's word for it. If these things aren't aliens, what are they? Andrew Nelson, anthropology chair at Western University in Ontario, said the bodies were already debunked prior to the last time they made headlines in 2017. It turns out they've been floating around for over a decade now. And according to anatomical studies performed in the past, the aliens were likely made from human remains, Frankenstein together like budget Halloween decorations. The feet alone, as vertebrate paleontologist Rodolfo Gismondi pointed out, were probably human but had digits cut and repositioned to look like freakishly long alien toes. Now that's just gross. No peer-reviewed studies, no transparent data, no consistent evidence. Just Maussan waving around CT scans and DNA claims like a magician with no sleeves. If these are, as suspected, mutilated human remains, this whole 1920s-themed freak circus isn't just misleading, it could be illegal. Ken Feder, an archaeology professor at Central Connecticut State University, didn't pull punches. He said if they are human, those responsible should face legal consequences for desecration and exploitation. He said they should be arrested. Also, let's talk about Peru for a second. These bodies allegedly came from there, but Peru's Ministry of Culture didn't return any comment, which raises the question, were the remains, be they human or alien, looted? Because if so, this whole debacle has gone from sci-fi sideshow to international ethics violation real fast. Is this first contact or nothing but nonsense? Peru is a likely candidate for an alien graveyard. You've got the Gate of the Gods, the Nazca Lines, and human civilizations that go back to the dawn of society. Maussan did do a bit of backpedaling after this, saying out loud with his own lips, "We never said they are extraterrestrial." Okay, Jaime, but you heavily implied it. You rolled questionably human remains into Congress like you were walking into an MIB black site. 2 years later, we're still arguing over what these bodies are. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and thanks again to PIA for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to click the link below to get 83% off your subscription and 4 months free. See you in the next one. Bye.